with your presence.
Ranchin is getting tired. Here we go. Moving on to the fourth set between BeSt and, I believe, BackHo. The future, the destiny of Oz lies in the hands of a man named BackHo. That's a stupid name. Yes, BackHo isn't exactly what I'd call a clutch player, but he might be able to pull this out. I mean, BeSt isn't really playing the way he used to. I mean, in 2008, he was supposed to be the next big Protoss. Oh man, look at I Love Uvi. He's just giggling it up with Boxer. You see the other coach trying to play it cool. He's trying to say, I'm not laughing inside like a little girl at all. But yes, this is going to be a Protoss versus Protoss game. BeSt used to have the best Protoss versus Protoss in the game, but he was definitely knocked down a notch, and he really hasn't been playing well at all recently. Although I think I'd still put him up there. He's still one of the 6 dragons. So, oh man, the coach of Oz looking very sullen. Very sullen. I think he's doing his taxes at this point, saying, okay, let's think about round 2 right now. Because there will be 2 rounds. If Oz loses here, they will be able to try again tomorrow and try to move towards a super ace match, which would be so epic. You know it'd be BeSt versus Jaedong. You know it. 3, 2, 1, 0. This is going to be on Colosseum 2, a 4-player map. Going to try to keep Ranchin alive here. It's getting late in Iceland. I'm going to try to slap him in the face and get him awake for this match. Even though it is Protoss versus Protoss, not everyone's favorite matchup. But anyways, over here in white, at the 5 o'clock position, we have BeSt. I hope the cameramen were actually right this time. But anyways, over here at the 8 o'clock position in red is BackHo. The red color burns in the heart of... Okay, I'm not going to try to hype BackHo up anymore because I think it comes off as stupid.
What? Circuit? Oh yeah, Circuit commentate, right. Start 2 o'clock, fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. I swore and I don't care. Right, this is where my prediction comes true. BeSt kicks BackHo in the teeth. BackHo goes home crying to his mom. He's saying, I was the white tiger, when he's not. And that's what I have to say about that. Right, BeSt, way back when, hyped to be the next big thing, you know, but second best thing to sliced bread, and I don't know what sliced bread is that special, but that's what people said it was going to be. And then he lost to July in the OSL finals, and that was kind of ugh. Okay, both players are putting down their gateways, but yeah, then that happened. But BeSt still came out alright, and that sucked, but oh well, you know, I'm alive. And then in the Incruit OSL, he lost in the semis in a 5-game set to Stork, and losing to Stork in a best of 5 in what was at the time basically what Jaedong is right now. He was what Jaedong is to ZVZ, he was at the time to PvP. So having lost a 5-game set to another Protoss was so damn devastating that he's just not been able to recover since. He's still a good player, but back then he used to be at the level of BeSt, particularly in PvP, but now just no. Not even close at this point. Still his best matchup by far at 69%, but just not nearly at his old level. And also what I find very interesting, what I'm going to really talk about right quick, is that the metagame in PvP has really changed. It used to be just get a bunch of Dragoons into play, get your Reavers going, and have a huge battle here and there. What the other guy beats the other, pushes down his natural expansion, kills, and you win that way. So that was that. Let's see. I think there was a manor pylon. Yeah, there was indeed a manor pylon coming there from BeSt, so he's going to put on the early pressure. But as I'm saying, the metagame has changed in that these times these players just go for a much larger ground army. They tend to skip Reavers. There's canceled manor pylon there. They go for Templars. They go for heavy Zealots alongside Dragoon support. Go in for Archons. So we're going to see whether this is what kind of game that becomes. So we might actually see large ground armies alongside a crap load of storms.
I've actually noticed that too. With Protoss versus Protoss has really been switching to Templar types of builds earlier. I mean, usually saw it in a late game, very late game back in the day. But I'm kind of glad for that because I love storms, especially in Protoss versus Protoss. Because one storm will not take out your army. You've got to do a ton of storms, and it's usually a lot of fun to watch there. But BeSt is getting up his cybernetics core here. And BackHo looking a little bit worried already, but BackHo is a pretty good PvP player when he wants to be. I mean, he's had some pretty epic games in the past. I'm remembering his game against Stork where he almost won. He got pushed back eventually by Stork, who just had an epic comeback in that game. But that was a very good Protoss versus Protoss. And we'll see if he can pull that out here. Clutch BackHo! BackHo's coming out with a couple of Zealots just to get that scout away from his base. But yeah, this is not cross positions, so there's probably going to be a lot of drop strategies from these guys. They might even actually meet in the middle of the bottom of the map with some shuttles if they do decide to go for dropships. It looks like BackHo snuck his way through the minerals, but he is taken down by a Dragoon. Looks like another gateway coming down for BackHo. Is going to go straight up Dragoon here to try to defend his base before he tries to take another base here. That's probably the smart thing to do. You see the cybernetics core is spinning, so that means Dragoon range coming up for both players. I believe BackHo's cybernetics core is spinning as well. Robotics facility coming up for BeSt, so he's going to try to go straight for everything here, and it looks like BackHo is getting rid of the sunken colony, so the creep around that colony will go away. He probably wants to make it a little bit easier to move through that choke and maybe eventually put down a pylon or something there. And BackHo is going for his expansion. And BeSt, in the meantime, is going to kind of pylon off here. It might be kind of a pylon wall from him. And BackHo actually pushing BeSt back here. BeSt is being pushed back away from BackHo's base, and he almost lost a Dragoon there, so a little bit careless on his part. But yeah, BeSt isn't going for his base now. He's committing probably to Reaver Tech. We'll find out very soon. Oh, he is going to put down his base here to compete economically with BackHo.
He's going to need to have to catch up because his next is going to be a little bit behind. He's also going to have to go out and do some harassment, going for Observatory first. So we're going to see whether it actually transitions to Reavers or actually goes for Templar. On the opposite robotics facility coming up for BackHo as well. We're going to see what he actually decides to go for. Just because the meta game has changed doesn't mean you have to change your style completely. Going for Reavers is still a pretty solid build as long as you don't get that, heavily mess up that build. BeSt is kind of piling off, probably going to leave a little opening for his troops to run through, but basically just a way for BackHo not going to be able to run troops. He's going to funnel those Zealots right into a heavy goon fire, not going to be able to manage to do too much. I just want to mention, please stop hyping a player that's basically a human Hugsy for Jaedong to sleep next to. Please. Thank you. So, BeSt is going to just get his macro up alongside. BackHo actually has a pretty sizable amount of forces. Several Zealots alongside Dragoons just getting his robotics suit. We're going to see whether he gets some observatory going alongside for that. BeSt does have his first observer in play. We're going to see what he goes for. Don't see a robotics support coming down for him yet, so he might actually be deciding to go for different tech. Actually, yeah, Nexus almost up. BackHo does have his new base coming up, adding in his second assimilator, so his second gas going to be pumping soon. Still not going for any tech, so I'm assuming he's going to go for Citadel of Adun fairly soon, and just going to start pumping from those gateways. On the opposite side, we do see a Citadel of Adun coming in first. There's an observatory there. Citadel of Adun coming in for BackHo, so he's going to have a Templar tech just a little bit earlier, going to get his speed a little bit earlier, adding in pylons just to spot for drops, and now the observer is going to run around, spot all the stuff that's going on here, and eventually going to go in and spot the Citadel of Adun. So most likely BackHo will go the same course. So we are most likely going to see a huge Zealot, Dragoon, Templar fight in the middle, which is going to be awesome.
I hope we do see that because, yes, looks like more gateways coming up for BackHo. This is going to be a complete ground army here. Surprisingly, neither player is going for Reaver harassment here. It's kind of hard to go Reaver harassment on this map because there's not a whole lot of space around the minerals here. As you can see, if BeSt would come in from below here, it would be pretty easy for BackHo to snipe this. BackHo actually snipes an observer there, just barely outranging that observer, so he does take that down, spotting it with his other observer, and he's getting a forge up just to make sure that BeSt can't come in with Dark Templar or anything like that. He's going to throw down a couple of cannons just to detect, basically.